The Ghana Police Service has started the prosecution of 252 people whose vehicles have been captured by special police monitoring cameras across the country for traffic violations. These special cameras, which are installed at traffic intersections and vantage points throughout the country as part of the Traffic Monitoring and Surveillance Center, captured the offenders within the last 2 weeks. The center is manned by officers of the Motor Traffic and Transportation Department of the Police Service. The Director General of the MTTD, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Mr. Francis Aboagye-Nyarko, who disclosed this at a media interaction in Accra yesterday, said videos of activities of the offenders would be used as evidence against them in the course of the prosecution. He said details of the vehicle owners, such as their names, telephone numbers, and addresses, the chassis numbers of the vehicles, were obtained from the Drivers and Vehicle License Authority to aid in tracing the culprits. Three elephants that invaded the Yankasia community in the Eastman Prusi Municipality of the Northeast region have killed one person in the area. The incident occurred on Wednesday, August 21, 2021. The elephants were also said to have invaded three other communities, Swamvusi, Naswa, and Tuna. According to a National Disaster Management Organization report, the elephants were moving across the streets when two persons on a motorbike ran into them, and the mammals attacked and killed one person. The other person managed to escape. The body of the deceased farmer was completely mutilated. The body of the deceased has been conveyed to Bengtiri for burial. He had 3 wives, 8 boys, and 5 girls. Residents claim the elephants killed 3 persons as the warriors mobilized to defend themselves. One elephant has also been confirmed dead, while 2 are reportedly injured after a shootout. The Volta Region branch of the National Democratic Congress has called on its supporters to join Friday's demonstration planned to impress upon government to open the country's land borders. The demonstration, to be led by Ketu South Member of Parliament Ablaji Fagomashi, will be staged in Aflao. But before then, the MP for Jemaro constituency, Dorcas Afutofi, will lead her constituency on Thursday, August 26, to stage a similar demonstration at Elubu in the Western region. Friday's demonstration will start at Denu and end at Aflao. Ghana's land borders, together with the sea and air borders, were closed by an executive instrument on Sunday, March 22, 2020. But goods were allowed to pass to and fro trading countries. The country's major international airport was, however, open to passengers on September 1, 2020, after strict COVID-19 testing measures were put in place. The Institute of Economic Affairs says African countries must begin collaborative negotiations when doing business with China. According to the civil society organization, this move would give countries on the continent better leverage in their deals with the Asian country. China continues to be a major business player with most African countries. Ghana, for instance, has for the first half of the year carried out over $4 billion worth of transactions with China. Director of Governance and Administration at the Institute of Economic Affairs, Ghana, Dr. Samuel Kofi Dakwa, said areas of concern should be more regional focused when it comes to negotiations. According to him, quote, we should have a joint negotiation between African countries and China. It shouldn't be just one country. Then also, in terms of our governance about contracts, we should be more transparent in the contract. The opposition should be made aware of such contract, he added. President Akufo-Addo has assured the international business community of Ghana's determination to maintain the conducive investment environment that guarantee the safety of legitimate investments and returns on them. He gave an assurance that the country would not relent in the efforts to preserve the atmosphere of peace, stability, and security that had contributed to the increasing presence of German businesses in Ghana. Ghana remains one of the fastest growing economies in the world between 2017 and 2020, averaging annual GDP growth rates of 7.0% for those years, up from the 3.4% GDP growth rate in 2016. President Akufo-Addo indicated that since 2017, government has put in place measures required to reduce the cost of doing business, improve the business environment, and make Ghana one of the most business-friendly economies in Africa. He therefore urged the business community in Germany to take advantage of the business-friendly climate to invest in Ghana. District Chief Executive of the Shai Osudoku District Assembly, Daniel Akufu, recently stopped the construction of a new cement factory along the Shai Hills enclave. This was because the investor, a Chinese firm, was constructing a factory without a permit. The project, according to sources, was 2 months away from completion, but it lacked the requisite permit from the District Assembly and the EPA. Also, the enclave in which the cement factory was being constructed had tomato and powdered soap factories operating. Daniel Akufu said, quote, they have not submitted any drawings to the Assembly because we have a special planning committee whose members include officers of the EPA and other agencies as well as departments serving on the committee. Quote, these people are supposed to analyze where buildings should be sited, their impact, so that when investors are permitted, we know that siting their factories will not create any problem, he added. He advised investors that even before they purchase land, they should inform the Assembly on the kind of project they intend doing, so that they can be advised on whether their location will serve their purpose. A new approach to protect young African children from malaria could reduce deaths and illness from the disease by 70%, study suggests. Giving them vaccines before the worst season, in addition to preventative drugs, produced, quote, very striking results, London research say. The trial followed 6,000 children aged under 17 months in Burkina Faso and Mali. Most of the 400,000 deaths from malaria each year are in the under fives. And the mosquito-borne disease is still a major health issue in many parts of the sub-Saharan Africa. Japan has suspended the use of about 1.63 million doses of the Moderna vaccine due to contamination. The health ministry said, quote, foreign materials were found in some doses of a batch of roughly 560,000 vials. Takeda Pharmaceutical, which sells and distributes the vaccine in Japan, said Moderna had put 3 batches on hold, quote, out of an ambience of caution. It said an issue at a manufacturing contract site in Spain was the likely cause, but did not elaborate. Quote, to date, no safety or efficacy issues have been identified, Moderna said, adding that it would work with regulators and Takeda to investigate the matter further. There are no details of what the, quote, foreign objects are, but Takeda described it as a particular matter, after which it said conducted an emergency examination. The United States and its allies have urged people to move away from Kabul airport due to the threat of an attack by the ISIL armed group as Western troops hurry to evacuate as many people as possible before an August 31st deadline. In the 11 days since the Taliban swept into Kabul, the U.S. and its allies have mounted one of the biggest air evacuations in history, bringing out more than 88,000 people. The U.S. military says planes are taking off the equivalent of every 39 minutes. Taliban fighters have been guarding the perimeter outside the airport, thronged by thousands of people trying to flee rather than stay in a Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. The Confederation of African Football has requested the UK government to grant an exemption to African players for the international football window. The request comes after the Premier League said yesterday that its club had, quote, reluctantly but unanimously decided not to release players for matches in red list countries during September's international break. Under current UK government rules, players would be forced to miss several games because of the 10-day isolation period required on return to the UK. The Premier League said extensive talks had taken place with Football Association and government to find a solution, but that no exemption had been granted. It added that it strongly supported the move made by top-flight sides, which, quote, will apply to nearly 60 players from 19 clubs who are due to travel to 26 red list countries. CAF has urged the British government to, quote, urgently provide the required exemptions to enable African players to compete for their countries in the upcoming FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 qualifiers. Kane has announced that he will stay at Tottenham this summer after a move to Manchester City failed to materialize. Kane, who has 3 years left on his Spurs deal, has asked to leave the club this summer in search of silverware, but appears to have softened his stance following a long summer of negotiations between City and Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy. Kane, who has been a target for City all summer, came off the bench in Saturday's 1-0 win at Wolves in Premier League in his first appearance since returning late for pre-season. The England captain, though, remains adamant that he was always scheduled to come back later than his teammates after Euro 2020. Ghanaian reggae, dancehall, and Afrobeat artist Livingston Eche Setekla, popularly known as Stonebwoy, will be headlining the Yam Carnival in the United Kingdom on August 28, 2021. He will be performing alongside Beenie Man, Kofi, Davido, Patoranking, Fally Ipupa, among other celebrated performers. He has promised to leave imprints of his performance on the minds of patrons of the festival and music lovers as they celebrate black culture from across the globe. On August 21, 2021, the BET award-winning Ghanaian musician made history with a remarkable performance at the Afro Carnival Festival in Brooklyn, New York. The concert is one of his 5 invasions, advancing his major Alonga Junction Europe and America tour in November this year. Though the event was disrupted by heavy rains and lightning, Stonebwoy delivered an unparalleled performance through the unfavorable weather conditions, performing more than just his Alonga Junction album. Gospel musician Diana Aintree Hamilton has won the topmost award for 2021 edition of the Adonko Ghana Music Awards USA. The musician picked up 3 awards on the night. She won the Gospel Song of the Year, Gospel Artist of the Year, and finally, the coveted title of Artist of the Year. US-based Female Artist of the Year went to Millicent Yankee, who also picked US Best Video of the Year. Jehovah was crowned the US-based Male Artist of the Year. Gospel artist Hertie Korji was crowned the US-based Female Vocalist and Gospel Artist of the Year. The colorful event, which saw performances from multiple award-winning musicians, Samini, choirmaster of prior fame, Obwai Murphy, Jehovah, amongst others, took place in Claridge A. Radisson Hotel inside Atlantic City.